Counter-terror police are investigating in Derby, where a car was driven into pedestrians in the city centre last night. 7 people suffered serious injuries. A man has been arrested, suspected of attempted murder.
I want to thank all those who responded so quickly to last night's event. In particular, the members of the public who came to the aid of those injured and helped provide first aid.
Also tonight, after a month of bombing, Iran says it's ready and waiting for American troops to begin a ground offensive. The Tudor reign ends at Tottenham after just 44 days. The club is now looking for its 3rd manager of the season. And setting sail for the last time, one of the ferries across the Mersey is retired.
This is ITV News with Geraint, Vincent.
Good evening. Counter-terror police have been called in to help investigate after a car ploughed into pedestrians in Derby city centre last night. 7 people were left with serious injuries. A 36-year-old man was arrested a few minutes after the incident. He is still being questioned on suspicion of attempted murder. Charlotte Cross is at the scene this evening. Charlotte, tell us what's been happening there today.
Well, Geraint, the police tape has now come down, but for much of today, Friargate in Derby has been cordoned off as forensics teams have moved in. Now, this is normally a popular nighttime destination, but last night at around 9:30, a car drove into the crowd, and what should have been a Saturday night party turned into a crime scene. The bars are dark, the restaurants empty. One of the main routes into Derby city centre cordoned off by police after a car hit a number of pedestrians.
We've seen a lot of ambulances and police cars here. A lot of people on the floor trying to help out.
We were staying in a little Airbnb up the road and we heard all the ambulances going down. It's really terrifying.
It's a concern. Everyone started calling me whether you are there, are you okay?
7 people were seriously injured and taken to hospital, though none are thought to be in a life-threatening condition. Passers-by rushed to their aid, and officers arrested the suspected driver just 7 minutes later.
This swift action would not have been possible without eyewitnesses who contacted us about the vehicle's whereabouts as it was driven away from the scene. I want to thank all those who responded so quickly to last night's event. In particular, the members of the public who came to the aid of those injured and helped provide first aid.
Today, forensics teams combed through the debris on the street, evidence of last night's horror. And there were calls for authorities to work together to take action to ensure people in areas like this are kept safe.
Well, I was certainly stunned. You don't expect this to happen in your home city. And I do think going forward we'll want to be looking again and reviewing whether or not more needs to be done to prevent incidents like this.
For now, attention is on those injured and their families, as investigations into how and why this happened continue.
Charlotte, can you tell us any more about the man who was arrested?
Well, we know that he is 36 years old and he lives in Derby. Police say originally he was from India, but that he has lived in the UK for a number of years. And tonight he remains in custody being questioned on suspicion of attempted murder, along with a number of other suspected offences. Now, counter-terrorism police are assisting with this investigation, but we're told that is routine and it doesn't mean that this was a terrorism incident. Police say they are keeping an open mind as to the motive.
Charlotte, thank you. From the Speaker of Iran's parliament today, a dire warning. His country's forces, he said, are waiting for American soldiers to invade so that they can rain fire upon them. His words came as around 3,500 US Marines and sailors arrived in the region on an amphibious assault ship. Day 30 of the conflict has seen another wave of airstrikes on Tehran, while Israel's Prime Minister says he's ordered his forces to expand their incursion into southern Lebanon. Graham Stothard has the latest.
In northeast Iran, a head and hand emerged from shattered concrete as rescuers free a man who narrowly evaded death. This building is one of many across the country torn apart by Israeli and US strikes. And now a possible escalation. The Americans have shipped thousands of troops to the area, threatening boots on the ground. A prospect the Iranian regime seems to relish. One military leader threatening American soldiers will become prey for the sharks of the Persian Gulf. The parliament speaker there saying they are waiting to rain fire on US troops. In Pakistan, though, foreign ministers from across the Middle East met to discuss how to try and end the fighting, which seems to be pulling more and more countries into its orbit. The Houthis and Hezbollah are striking Israel. Israel is striking back. And Iran is lashing out at countries across the Gulf. Despite the Americans claiming to have decimated their military capacity. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also called Iran and its proxies defeated enemies, saying there were visible cracks in the regime.
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you.
Although President Trump does appear to have changed direction on what he said 10 days ago, those at a conservative conference in Dallas didn't seem to mind.
I believe that eventually you will end up with boots on the ground.
I trust President Trump. I know he knows a lot more than I know.
If we need boots on the ground, let's do it and get out of there fast.
Away from the conference hall, for those in the countries where the war is the daily destructive reality, escalation in this conflict will not be so welcome. Graham Stothard, ITV News.
Well, our political correspondent Harry Horton is here. Harry, if a ground incursion is looking more likely, that'll be some escalation. Where would it leave the British position on this conflict?
Well, the official government position is that they don't comment on allies' operational activity. The Prime Minister has said this week, though, that what he wants to see is a swift de-escalation. There is a real push at the moment from the UK and other countries to try and reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping lane. It's been effectively closed for about a month now, and we're already feeling the economic impacts of that. We saw the price of petrol go above £1.50 per litre this past week. Many economists think worse is to come. Iran is thought to have laid around a dozen mines in that strait, so giving shipping companies the confidence to start travelling through that strait again will be really difficult. Now, the Ministry of Defence confirmed today that RFA Lime Bay, a Royal Navy evacuation ship, is currently in the Mediterranean. It's being prepared for possible deployment in the strait, where it would assist in scanning the seabed for mines as well as disarming them. Now, officials stress that would only happen if the current situation stabilises. Ultimately, though, that seems to be down to the US and Iran.
Okay, Harry, thank you. A 26-year-old man has been shot dead near London's Euston Station. He was sitting in his car when he was shot several times by a suspect on a bike last night. A murder investigation is underway. Police have identified a 16-year-old girl who died after being found unconscious with serious injuries on a street in Leeds on Saturday morning. Officers have arrested 2 women and 2 men on suspicion of murder. Now, it's been more than 50 years since the Apollo project landed humans on the surface of the moon. Now, a new NASA mission is set to send another team of astronauts beyond the moon, further into space than anyone has ever been. It's expected to launch sometime in the next week, so the crew is currently in quarantine and looking forward to making history. Here's Emma Volney.
This is a live look.
The 4 astronauts flying to the moon and back and travelling further from Earth than any human ever has. They won't land on the moon, but will fly to its far side, spending 10 days cramped inside this tiny capsule, about the size of a small camper van, speaking today from quarantine as they edge closer to making history.
It is our strong hope that this mission is the start of an era where every person on Earth can look at the moon and think of it as also a destination.
But the launch of this rocket has been delayed several times after tests found a hydrogen leak, and they can't rule out further disruptions.
I will tell you, the 4 of us, we are ready to go. The team is ready to go, and the vehicle is ready to go. but not for 1 second do we have an expectation that we are going. We will go when this vehicle tells us it's ready and when the team is ready to go. So we might go out to the pad and we might have to try again a few more times, and we are 100% ready for that.
Safety, their biggest priority.
Our suits are not only suits, they are survival systems. They have been designed to keep us alive in the case of a cabin leak for up to 144 hours, 6 days.
Only 24 people have ever travelled to the moon and back. The last was in 1972. But Artemis 2 will blast humans deeper into space, paving the way for future lunar landings and eventually even missions to Mars. Emma Volney, ITV News.
Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur are looking for their third manager this season after Igor Tudor left the club after only 6 weeks in charge. Spurs are 17th in the table, just 1 point above the relegation zone now. Chris Scudder is outside the Tottenham Hotspur stadium this evening. Chris, was this a surprise?
Not really, Geraint. 44 days. That's the fourth shortest Premier League managerial tenure in history. He replaced Thomas Frank, who was sacked only last month. Spurs, huge club, of course, in danger of relegation, but it just hasn't worked. 5 Premier League games in charge since he arrived, plus a couple of European games. Only 1 win, that was in Europe, but in the league, 4 defeats, 1 draw, and the last straw was losing to Nottingham Forest, relegation rivals here recently. It's been a tough time for Igor Tudor. His father died recently, but the pressure's really been on, and the fans I spoke to here earlier today, not surprised that he has gone tonight.
I think it will be good, but it just depends if we get in, really. It's not really a lot of options.
Yeah, we just need
to
stay up. Just need to stay up.
I don't think he realised what he was doing, what we were up against, what he's up against, really, but no surprise, really.
It was inevitable he was going to get sacked eventually, but he didn't get sacked. He stepped down.
I don't think a coach change will really change much. It's really what the players will do eventually.
As the thoughts of Spurs fans this evening. Who next? Well, maybe an emotional return for former Spurs favourite Harry Redknapp, maybe the former firefighter Sean Dyche. But make no mistake, if Spurs were to be relegated, one of the big 6 clubs in England, it would be a seismic moment in Premier League history.
OK, many thanks, Chris. The Mercedes driver Kimi Antonelli has won the Japanese Grand Prix. It's the 19-year-old Italian's second victory in a row. Britain's George Russell finished 4th, Lando Norris was 5th, and Lewis Hamilton 6th. Despite being barely old enough to drive, he's now the youngest driver in history to lead the Formula One World Championship. For 67 years, the Royal Iris has been ferrying people across the Mersey. Today, it made its final voyage. The much-loved boat has been decommissioned to be replaced by a new vessel, the Royal Daffodil, when it takes to the water later this year. But that's the future. Today was all about saying goodbye, as David Harper now reports.
Life goes on day after day.
How many ferries do you know that have been immortalised in song?
So ferry, cross the Mersey, 'cause this land is a place I love.
This ferry, though, the Royal Iris, is crossing the Mersey for the final time. Since entering service in 1960, she's been one of the most famous sights of the city.
People remember her from Ferry Cross the Mersey, obviously Jerry Marsden fame, and the Liver Beds, especially the very open sequence of the Liver Beds. We think maybe 17 million people have travelled on her over that period of time, which is obviously a hell of a lot of people.
And she holds fond memories for many of those 17 million people. Some of her biggest admirers had to join her one last time to say goodbye.
It's a sad day that it's coming to the end of its life.
I've always liked the ferries because I come from a really long line of sailors, and I've loved Royal Iris for a while.
It's very emotional. Actually, she's 67 years old, well, nearly 67 years old, so it's a lot of history, and it's been an honour and a privilege today. It's been emotional seeing the salute off the tug. I think we're all up here, us from the crew, we got a bit of a tear in our eyes. She's my favourite boat, we'll miss her.
But the service that's connected Liverpool and Birkenhead since 1150 will continue. A brand new ferry, the Royal Daffodil, will join the fleet and take future generations across the water after the Royal Iris has sailed into history. David Harper, ITV News.
And that is all for now. I'm back with the late news at 10. Enjoy your evening. Goodbye.